Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should be attempted only with funds that you can afford to do without. All right. Crude oil. Okay, yeah, our start time was right here at 9 o'clock, so not getting in sync with the long. We do pick up the short, plenty of time to get in that. Good morning, Private Eye. And we pick up target 1 for 20 ticks and ultimately stop out on the trailer at 76.47 for 10 ticks. So 30 ticks net on that trade, one and done session. If you're not using the 20 SMA trade, gold level traders are not going to have that set up in Spotlight Master Suite Gold, or Spotlight Master Suite will not have that. Spotlight Master Suite Diamond level will have that. And it looks like Russell just missed catching that short, just a little bit too early. And given proximity, I'll take that one. I would take that get in sync. Now, if it's more than a minute, I wouldn't take it, but that's just 20 seconds ahead of our start time. Squeeze zone filtered trade on soybeans. And the YM going to money management on the short too quickly. So our first trade is the long right here. And that's a sizable trade there. 34 ticks to target 1. Long on the YM. If you did, as I said on crude, if you didn't take the 20 SMA trade off on the short, then your trade would have been the long. That's a 14 tick target 1, which was hit, and stops out for 1 tick on the trailer. So 15 ticks net for gold, for Spotlight Master Suite traders. Spotlight gold level or diamond level traders picked up the 30 tick trade. Russell's a big trade, and so it started to trail now. We did not hit the entry for that long trade. And we crossed back over to the short side again, so we're still in the short. There's target 1. And our trailer is already to 81.6, it looks like. Target 2 is 4.2 points. Target 1 is 2.7. Our normal target 3 is 2.8. So this is definitely a big trade. Stop still at 81.6. Now unleaded, and the YM hitting target 1. So we pick up that 34 tick target. This is a one and done session as well. 886, and our stop is at 894. So 8 ticks on the trailer, not a lot. There's target 2. I definitely would take profit there. Targets 2 and 3 should be actionable here on this large trade on the Russell. 80.6 for the stop, and a 4.42 tick target 2. Big win to start the morning. Crude, definitely a winner this morning. Unleaded, this short set up 2 seconds after our start time. In 2 more seconds, it was down here midway between and never came back. So that one is definitely too fast to have traded. So our first trade would be the Good Morning Arizona Bob. Our first trade would have been the long. That hits targets 1, 2, and 3. So target 1 traders picked up 27. Target 2, 43. And looks like we came back to 65.92 for the stop from the entry at 65.71. 21 ticks on the trailer. One and done session there. So we'll go bring up the MNQ. Okay, that short looks like a very good chance that's a valid trade because we got the pullback here. It's right around our start time at 4 minutes after market open. Exchange time is Central Time, so that would be our start time would be 8:34 Central. The YM is done. Soybeans picks up, ouch. Picks up a long trade that ends up coming down to a stop and reverse that would be at the full stop out. So we're actually still in the long trade. Stop and reverse adjust would take us to there. So we are currently still in the long, even though we just hit the unadjusted short trade. We'll see if the 50 EMA gives us some support here and we go back up, as well as the session open. We're just a couple of ticks above the session open. I'd love to I might even be persuaded to move that stop down a couple of ticks. Especially if we get a swing level here. And the Russell stops out at 78.7. Money management on the MNQ 186.25 for the trailing stop, which is at break even, essentially at break even +1. Which trade plan are you looking for, Private Eye? Yes, definitely trade the plan. But if you use the session open can be a significant level, but that's a chart level adjustment. That's one of those art of trading things. And that's one of the arts that if you're going to do it consistently. So I probably would take that down to 1550 if I were trading this live. I would have set the stop on that trade at 1550 rather than 1525. Or I'm sorry, at 1550 rather than 1516 flat. Still long. And adjustments like that can go either way. It can be you can give up. It's maybe giving up a couple of ticks, paying for insurance if it goes on through, or if it reverses and goes back and you end up hitting the long target, saves you a losing trade, which so far it has done. And there it just hit the adjusted entry at 1550. So I gave up actually 8 ticks ultimately on this trade because it is 4 positions. But that's a move I would do consistently. MNQ still short, and at break-even stop, and a short trade on the pound Aussie. $79.16. And target 3 will be our first actionable target. This is a small trade. And that stopped out. So if you weren't watching carefully, or if depending on how long that took to spike through, it may be a safely avoided trade. It was avoided for me because I didn't see it immediately. And the macro NQ stops out for break even. Soybeans trying to get to 1350. That'll be an 8-tick target 1 with the adjustment. And money management. No, I don't mind that, but the reasoning behind it is part of the art. But you want to, that should be part of your rule set. Is, and do it consistently if you're going to do it. When I get something like that, where I'm right around the session open, I will that will often provide some support or resistance depending on which direction price action is coming from. As it looked like it initially did between the that and the 50, and there is target 1, 8 ticks in the bag, and I would here again I would adjust the stop to 1516, just keep a couple of ticks of risk on. hide it behind that EMA until we start trailing, or hide it behind the session open rather. Looks like it's headed solidly downward. And there's the trailer, and that's the unadjusted trailer, but that's where I would have my stop also in this case at 16 flat on soybeans. Okay, our loss on the initial trade then was 1925 to 1550. Ooh, that was a big one. 3 3/4 points. 15 ticks times 4, so we're down 60. We got 8 on that target. So down 52. With the Russell with another short trade. The Russell at session lows. 74.8. All right, Micro Russell on Catapult Renko bar in a short. That's the 15 tick or 1.5 point brick with a half point or 5 tick offset on the Russell. The Micro Russell. The Micro NQ is also Catapult on the Renko a custom Renko bar for TradeStation. That's a 12 point 48 tick brick with a 3 point or 12 tick offset. YM is on the 14 point momentum bar, 14 tick range bar, depending on your platform. On Spotlight, crude oil is the 8 tick or 8 cent momentum bar or range bar, depending on your platform. And also on Spotlight, unleaded was a 20 tick or 0.002 momentum bar, 20 tick range bar for NinjaTrader, also on Spotlight. Pound Aussie is an 80 tick or 8 pip momentum bar for TradeStation, range bar for NinjaTrader, also on Spotlight. And soybeans is a 5 tick or 1 1/4 point momentum bar, 5 tick range for NinjaTrader, and that is on Counterpunch. Give everybody an idea of what I've got on screen here. Soybeans is lower right. YM, the Dow E-mini, is upper right. Crude is top center. Micro NQ is bottom center. That bottom center was also unleaded. Top left is the Micro Russell, and that is in a long trade. Stop and reverse at 77. I'd make that 77.6. A couple of ticks, stop and reverse adjust, and then a key level adjustment. But we did go long there, getting out of the short. This is another sizable trade. 3.7 to target 2. I would take profit again at target 2. Normally we're target 3 and 4, but I would slide those down to 2 and 3 with a large trade again. Already trailing 76.9. Not quite to break even yet with the trailer, but cutting risk considerably. 79.6 it looks like is target 1. Yeah, so that's where we'll come to, and we just did hit that. So stop comes to break even at 7. I said 77.6 for the entry, so 77.7 would be break even stop with the stop and reverse and key level. All right, soybeans ended up stopping out at the 1550. Stop did come on down. So with one in hand and the trailer coming down, I'll go ahead and would have taken that. So that would have been a break even. That was our actual entry point on the rest of the positions. So down 52 and long from 1516. Let's see what we can do here. Actually, did we get? Actually, we did. No, we did get target 2. So that is 14 ticks. So we got 22 in total. So we're actually down only 38. Target 1 on the long on soybeans is a 12 tick. Russell hitting target 2. That's a second winner. 2 winners, 1 loss. Stop currently at 78.4. All right. Crude working up around its 200 EMA. Now it looks like the Micro Russell and the Micro NQ and the YM all right around session, right around session open. So break even day basically so far. Session open, of course, being 5 p.m. yesterday for the futures markets. And the Russell 78.8 now for the stop. Made a run at target 2, but didn't, or target 3 rather, didn't quite get there. All right. And target 3 on the Russell. 79.8 for the stop. Good morning, Pamela. $79.9. For the Russell stop. Pound Aussie still flat. Soybeans is still long. Just bouncing along the session open right now. Kind of a lackluster market this morning, other than the Russell. Long trade for the micro NQ, and plenty of time to get in that. Russell through target 4. All right. 81.2 for the Russell stop. And YM showing a little bit of a pullback off of that move. Russell a little bit as well. Micro NQ off its high. YM back to session open, as is the Micro NQ. And glad you're in the room, Heather. I'm watching our Discord channel as well. Please feel free to ask questions. And the MNQ loss on the long trade, and now in a short trade, definitely in it with pullback. Money management, 156.25 for the stop. There's target 2. So that's a winning trade. Need a little bit more. Setting a new session low that quickly. The Russell stopped out at 81.2. Micro NQ needing to go ahead and get target 3 to get us basically at break even again. And there it is. Trailing quickly down. Targets 2 and 3 so far. 130 and a quarter for the stop. Pound Aussie showing a quick long with a full stop, but that one again is probably avoidable. Just a moment's hesitation. Soybeans with a stop and reverse. That would be 913.25 with the 2-tick adjustment. So there's our entry. Still long at the moment. And the stopping out on the MNQ at the 130 and a quarter and bouncing quickly through. Let's see. Okay, there's a chance to make the entry again. So definitely in the long. Russell also in a long. Now that one probably 50, 51, 51, 52. Yeah, that 2 seconds, and that was well beyond money management. So that's a no trade. Missing target 1 on the MNQ by looks like just a couple of ticks. 155 even for target 1. We got as high as 54 and 3, missed it by 3 ticks. No 10 a.m. crude session this morning. Mini session. We do have the crude inventory report at 10, coming at 10:30. And money management on the micro NQ. 138 3/4. So that's going to be at least a break-even trade. This is our 4th trade of the morning on the micro NQ. We've had 3 trades on the Russell. My best advice to you, Heather, is keep listening to all those places you're talking about on Discord. And as you have questions, keep a notebook, write them down, and bring them to office hours. Bring them up in the trade room. That's what we're here for. We're here to help and answer questions. All right, soybeans still in the long. The short has not triggered even unadjusted. About another 10 minutes or so in here, and I'll close down this session and move on to the crude oil inventory session. We'll go ahead and start a new stream for that. YM and the micro NQ still in between their session lows and session open, and the Russell sitting right at session open. So ultimately a sideways day. But that notwithstanding, we've had two really nice trades with the Russell and a good solid trade with the Micro NQ. Micro Russell with two good wins, Micro NQ with one, and stopping out at break even on that fourth trade on Micro NQ. That is a slightly positive session so far. And a new long on the Russell. That may have gone through too fast. Micro Russell. Yeah, just 4 or 5 seconds to target one and got our 14 tick minimum, so that one is too fast to, that's another one that's avoided, too fast to trade. And the short I would expect would have been avoided because it just touched the entry and went back the other way. Just 14 seconds to go. Full 25 ticks. So that, yeah, that one's avoidable. All right, questions this morning. Soybeans is still in the long. We got 2 3/4 points risk currently on the long with the stop and reverse. Well, actually, the stop and reverse has canceled. We had no. Oh, yeah, the stop and reverse has come off because the trend indicator turned positive, and that took us out. As we didn't have closes above the balance line. But the trend indicator turned positive in here. And that ends up filtering out and I can't see if there's, looks like we also might be in a, yeah, I think we went into a, no, I didn't, Alan. All right, MNQ with a possible short. No trigger yet. Still a valid trade unless we get a crossover, because we have not triggered in it, even though it's above the stop at this point, until we get a crossover back to the green side for the cat lines. Still a valid trade. Same situation on the Russell, although it looks like it might cancel on this one because it's come back to green at the moment. Yep, still green. Although it may not end up staying green if it comes down to the entry. But for the moment, the trade is still valid, and looks like it did cancel. But we got a new one that did not trigger in either. We did get this quick crossover to green, and then it came back to red. There's the entry. Russell is short, as is the micro NQ. The calculator is not tracking this because it hit both stop and entry on the same bar, but that is a valid trade. M2K micro Russell also with a valid short trade that did trigger in. Actually just triggered in again. Sellers trying to, and buyers fighting back. It looks like it. Don't know where that's going to go. It's 10:15. Soybeans is basically back to its entry. Now it's pulling back a little bit. That stop and reverse is off the table at the moment still. Still can come back, and looks like we are in a squeeze zone. I think I see dots buried under some of the lines there. Or not a squeeze zone, I'm sorry. Chop zone. So in the chop zone, we can't take trades against the 50, and that long stop and reverse is against the 50 EMA, which is why it's currently being filtered out. Excuse me. Well, actually the short's with, so that wouldn't filter it out. Don't know. Well, I was mistaken. We just did enter the chop zone, or possible chop zone starting on this bar here. But looks like it went off one bar early. So still long on soybeans, still short on both the Russell and the micro NQ, micro Russell, micro NQ. Coming close to the M2K stop, and close to money management on the micro NQ. There's money management on the micro NQ and on the Russell, so both will come to break-even stop. 80.9 was our low. Yeah, that's our 14, so Break-even stop on the Russell, 82.2 it looks like. Yeah, 82.2. And the Russell coming to the break-even, the micro NQ coming to break-even stop at 168.25. Alright, it's getting almost 20 after. I'm going to have to close this down. There is a long trade on pound Aussie at 78.91. I'm going to have to say goodbye on this stream, and we will see you in about 10 minutes.